But
Okay.
yeah, I'm recording now, so we can get going. But I'll just do a bit more of that introduction banter before I do the introduction.
A bit of bants, Sue.
Yeah, a bit of rhubarb.
A little bit of how's your father?
Exactly. Anyway, welcome everybody back to another episode of Tell Me Where I'm Going Wrong. This is a completely unscripted podcast where two friends get together and talk about whatever is on their minds that week. My name's Josh, I'm one of the hosts, and the other host is Sean. Hello Sean, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. I like the way that your cadence when you do the intro, you do it like kind of like a newsreader where where you pause at certain points. This is another episode of...
Welcome back to the 10 o'clock news with me.
Yeah. And the other guest is Sean. Welcome, Sean.
Here in the studio today we have Sean O'Callaghan, also known as blogger Fat Gay Vegan. How are you, Fat Gay Vegan, FGV?
FGV, I had to do host an event last night at Unity Diner, the vegan cafe, the vegan restaurant in central East London. East Central London? How do you say that? East Central, because it's
East
EC.
Central.
Yeah, East Central. And it's a vegan restaurant that raises money for an animal sanctuary. And I was hosting an event there because the embargo is until 5 p.m. today, but by the time this comes out on the news, everyone will be talking about it.
On the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah, on the 10 o'clock news. They they're launching a new product, vegan doner kebabs. So they've got like a big slab of vegan meat on a spit, like on a spike. And, with the knife thing that you carve at the saw. And so they're doing like loaded fries, kebabs, like doner kebabs. And it's really exciting. And it's good news for you because you steer clear of gluten. It's not a seitan based, it's soy based, and it's gluten free.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, well, you could go in, don't have the bread, but you could have like the loaded fries with the doner.
Could have like a doner chip box or something.
Yeah, dirty. What do they call it? Like dirty fries. I hate when people use language like that, like dirty.
Well, I really like try and sexualize the food.
Yeah, or just make it sound naughty, like dirty fries.
There was that horrible burger place. They weren't vegan, but they had vegan options, and they were, I think, a chain. I can't remember what they were called, and I've seen them on like Deliveroo or Uber Eats, and they've just got they've got horrible names for all their burgers, like dirty bitch or the slutty whatever, slutty Giuseppe, or I don't know, just like really
like what's the attraction, like you dirty rotten fucking bastard hot dog or something.
You filthy fucking piss pig doner kebab.
But yeah, they really try and go to this it's like to try and insinuate that it's naughty or taboo.
I know, it's so the opposite though. It's just so fucking boring and pedestrian when they try and do that. But
yeah. But anyway, so if anyone's in London, go to Unity Diner.
When does it launch? By the time this episode's out, will it be live?
I think it launches today, and it's part of their new Christmas menu as well. So did you know that they do a carvery, vegan carvery?
Yes, I do.
I think I spoke about it before, and so it'll be available on Sunday carveries as well. They might put some of the doner meat out, but they have all of the vegan meats and the roast veggies and everything. You go along with your plate and you fill up and Yorkshire pudding. And
I'm just wondering if I can get you to go, because by the time this episode comes out, we'll have already been to Paris and come back from Paris to see Lady Gaga. But we're recording this 2 days before we go, and I'm just wondering now if I can get you to go and get me an order of doner kebab meat to bring to the Eurostar on Thursday morning. But I think that's a bit ridiculous given that there's loads of good vegan food in Paris.
Yeah, but I started telling this anecdote because you mentioned my blogging name, Fat Gay Vegan. I was there hosting. I was on the microphone hosting, and there were all these different vegan influencers. Like somebody had come down from Edinburgh for it, and there was people from Brighton and obviously influencers from all around and content creators. Sorry, the young ones told me they don't like to be called influencers. They like to be called content creators.
I heard this the other day, that influence is no longer the word.
And but there were also some people there, like some executives from Uber Eats and It was like quite a not intimidating crowd, but it was a diverse mix of people who have some influence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I had to get up and host the whole event on the microphone. And I, introduced myself as fat gay vegan. And there's nothing more sobering than introducing yourself to a room of like 50 people and you hear maybe one person go, woo, in the background. And I'm like, how far I've fallen to that. Like, I used to get a
Well,
round of applause when I would say the name fat gay vegan.
right. Well, it's 49 new potential fans for you, maybe.
But it's so funny seeing these young content creators. I feel so old in the room. Like,
Mm,
there are people there who are 20 years old who have 10 times the followers I've got, and they've only been doing it for like a few months.
yeah.
And I've been doing it for like
Yeah.
16 years. And I'm like,
Yeah.
people honestly come up to me and say, oh, my mum used to love you. She told me all about you. And I'm like, what am I, fucking Gary Barlow? Like,
Oh my God.
it's like I am like the let loose of the fucking, was that the name of that band, Let Loose,
Yeah,
in the
that's very
90s?
niche. Yeah.
Um,
Just quickly, before we get into anything, I just want to say a couple of episodes ago, we were talking about Absolutely Fabulous, and you and I, mostly me, I think, kept using Edwina as the character name, Edwina Monsoon, which it's actually not. It's Adina Monsoon.
Dina,
So,
yeah. I
yeah,
was thinking that when I was
apologies.
walking down the street yesterday because I saw the word Edwina printed somewhere. And I went,
Uh-huh.
oh, that's similar to Adina,
Yeah.
like our
Yeah.
fab name. So
So
where
yeah,
did you get
but
Edwina from?
I think because you and I have got a friend in common who has a daughter called Edwina, and I think maybe that's why. I think we did say Edina, or we referred to her as Eddie a lot, but I
Yes.
think a few times I think I did say Edwina. So apologies. I hold up
Ed,
my hands and say
who was,
uh,
do you know any famous Edwinas? Who was Edwina Curry?
Edwina Curry was a Conservative MP in the
Is she the one who had the
80s.
affair, like that scandalous affair?
Possibly. She was definitely involved in sort of some sort of salmonella expose, or I can't even.
Salmonella.
Yeah, I can't remember the details, but it was
Let me have a
80s.
look. But she was a Conservative Party member for
Yeah.
South Derbyshire. But
This
like,
plant's really annoying me now, getting
oh
in
yeah,
my.
salmonella in eggs controversy.
Yeah, that's right.
What a legacy! Like, imagine that being the top thing on your Wikipedia entry, the first in your first paragraph.
Salmonella tainted eggs.
Salmonella, but salmonella dash in dash eggs controversy. But I thought she had some sort of scandal about. Um, didn't she have an affair with another politician or something? Or am I imagining that?
Not that I remember. I mean, it's possible, but not. That's not what I remember her for.
But listen to this part. In September 1986, she became a junior health minister. Among her comments over the next 2 years were that good Christian people who would not dream of misbehaving will not catch AIDS, and elderly people should wrap up warm in winter, and that Northerners die of ignorance and chips.
Ignorance and chips.
Talking of that about that, I went to Leeds on the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How was
Talking
it?
of ignorance and chips, it was rife. It was rife with ignorance and chips soup.
Uh-huh.
And
Is that why they love a curry sauce on their chips up north because of Edwina Curry?
yeah, it was really nice. I want to say something controversial about Leeds.
Okay.
Why is everyone so fucking obsessed with shopping? Like, it's all about
Oh,
shopping
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Leeds.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
shops. People are rammed in the shops, going in and out of the shops.
I think because it's got a really long history as a market town, and
Mm.
it's a city in the middle of a lot of very, very agricultural, pastoral land. Is that the word?
Yeah,
It was really a market town for a lot of its history. And the city is kind of still set up like that. Like a lot of the center is pedestrianized. And it does work really well as a shopping city. And I think that's why. And also, I think because as you and I have said many times before on this podcast, that I think people outside of the southeast in the UK. I mean, this is a bit of a generalization, but I think a lot of people outside of the southeast do have more disposable income. I think the increased living costs in London, particularly, um, mean that people just have no disposable income. And I think people do have more disposable income in places like Leeds.
Because for the size of the city that it is, there seems to
Mm,
be a disproportionate amount of shops and shopping
mm,
arcades in the city
hmm.
centre.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like the county arcade, the Victoria shopping district,
Hmm.
so many Grand Arcade, like just so
Yeah.
many arcades full of shops and boutiques and little
Hmm.
craft and knickknacks. And then you go into the Trinity Centre,
Hmm.
and there's a whole two sections of it. And there's like an artisan craft section of it. And there's the
Mm,
Trinity Kitchens, like the food
mm.
arcade, and so
And
much.
there is a lot of wealth as well. There's a lot of wealth in and around Leeds. I mean, there's, some really, really expensive areas in Leeds and then outside in some of those country
Like
towns.
Harrogate, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
But
Scarborough, Harrogate.
I I know I like Leeds. You know, I have a history. You have a history there of like being there on and off, and
Hmm.
it feels nice. It feels like an exciting place to be. But
Mm.
and Hill really enjoyed it as well. He had never been there
He'd never
before.
been. Okay.
No, and he enjoyed it. And I made the comment to him about, "Oh my God, so many shops, people shopping," and he said, "Well, I like it here, but what else is there to do?" Like,
Mm.
it's just one of those places where
Is that your controversial take?
no, my controversial take was how obsessed people seem to be with shopping there.
Okay.
It seems to be the cultural driving force is go to the
Yeah,
shops.
yeah, it is a bit of a pastime, perhaps. A bit of a
But I was there to visit, but also I wanted to go and see that band Fortitude Valley. They were
hmm
playing at the venue
Wharf Chambers.
Wharf Chambers, and it was a really great gig. One of the most enjoyable gigs I've had in a long time. It was lovely,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's such a fun venue. Like we did an event there years ago. What year did we do that event in Wharf Chambers?
It was about 2017, I think.
Oh, was it? A-
Yeah, I
And
think so.
you performed as well as Love Like
Yeah,
Hate.
Love Like Kate, and I can't remember if Connor performed as well, perhaps that night.
Okay.
Um,
And wasn't it there that I mean, not to dox ourselves, but to tell on ourselves, wasn't it down that side alley that you scraped the side of
Sue,
the van?
Sue, we're not talking about that on the podcast. We'll have the rental company come after us all these years later.
I've never seen an angrier person than you driving that van around the country.
Oh, it was a fucking nightmare. It was absolute fucking nightmare. No one could read a map, and it was pre, um, well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe we just didn't know how to
No,
use the
yeah.
technology, but it was pre sort of, Google Maps giving you directions or anything like
Well,
that.
the problem was I was trying to give you directions from the map on the phone, but the GPS wasn't moving as fast on the phone as we were moving on the roads.
Mm,
So I'd say, oh, it's this exit, but then we'd already passed the exit by 100 meters because the
yeah,
dot on the map was not moving fast enough. And
it was
you were so angry. You were like screaming obscenities.
it was a very difficult time in our lives. It was at the sort of tail end of our relationship, and I think
It was the straw that
it
broke the obese camel's back, Sue.
it was the tour that broke the camel's back, and yeah, it was difficult. You know, I've spoken to friends about this who also had an ADHD diagnosis later in life, and it's bittersweet when you get the diagnosis as an adult because, of course, it's great that you can finally, understand your neurodivergence and get help, and like the medication has really helped me. Um, but it's tinged with sadness because you look back at your life and you see moments where you've struggled a lot, whether that's, getting really angry or getting really upset or, you know, not having the opportunities or not following through on opportunities that you could have had because of, ADHD.
Yeah.
And that period was definitely one of those where I was, very very stressed, very going through a lot of emotional stuff. But yeah, like the map reading thing and the angry driving is a very common theme among people with ADHD, I'm afraid. And
But
that was like
imagine
the
having like an tumultuous emotional time that was
mm,
like, informed by neurodivergence, and it was a very extreme episode,
mhm,
driving a minivan around the
around the
country
United
with
Kingdom.
a,
Yeah.
a band from Brisbane, Australia, with
Hmm.
another vegan activist in the van
Hmm.
and driving, and it was cold. Wasn't it? What time of year was it? I don't remember it being particularly warm
I
anywhere
think it
we
was.
went.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we did 11 shows in 2 weeks or something,
Yeah,
or in 10 days or some ridiculous thing. And it was like, I don't even know where we played. I mean, I remember playing in London. We played in um,
Nottingham,
Leeds, Nottingham,
Newcastle,
Glasgow, Edinburgh,
Liverpool. Because
Liverpool,
that's the only time I've been to Liverpool or to Newcastle.
Newcastle if you're from
Yeah,
Newcastle, Newcastle if you're from the south.
yeah, and but I barely saw anything of those cities because it was just like literally drive in from wherever we'd been the night before, do the gig, and then sleep, and then get back on the road. So um, it must be, I mean that was a tiny operation. But imagine being on a big tour where you were flying into cities and were there for like 24 hours and then out again. It would just be such an odd experience, wouldn't it?
What was the biggest show? The biggest show was the London gig.
Yeah, but the Glasgow show was quite big as well. What was the name of the venue? It was one of Craig Tannock's venues.
Yeah,
The 78, I think.
maybe. But I don't remember many people showing
Uh,
up to that. I
I thought
remember
it
it
was quite
being
busy.
no, I think it was not many people there. The London show, we
I
probably had
remember
about 80 people.
maybe, yeah. I remember, was her name Karis from The Vegan Kind? Was
Yeah,
that
came
that
down and gave
show?
us gave
That
us
was
gift
really nice.
boxes.
She gave us that
And
massive bag, that massive bag of what's it called? Scotch tablet. Is
or
that what it's called?
somebody else gave us that, I think.
Oh, was that not from Karis?
Yeah,
Okay,
no, that Scottish tablet. Yeah, it was
Scottish
like
tablet. Yeah.
fudge. And I was
My
just sucking
God.
on it in the
Yeah.
I mean, I made myself so ill with that. And because I was stress eating, because you were screaming at me and everyone the whole time, I was just sat there with like 5 kilos of this Scottish fudge, and I was just like sucking on it like a baby with a pacifier.
Oh my God.
But we did the bookstore in Edinburgh as well, right? Oh, we also
Oh
did that
yeah, and Bristol as
Bristol.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did Bristol.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of shows. That was one of my harebrained. You know how I was talking to you last week, I think, where I was talking about some people are just like have this hustler mindset where they
Hmm.
just go, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
I can remember just having this idea, I'm going to do this vegan roadshow.
Yeah.
And it was just any sane person would go, that doesn't really make sense and it's a risk. And yeah, you're not
And
really got.
that probably was a contributing factor to my anger as well. Because I'm not that personality type at all. Like I'm like I thrive on routine. I hate anything
Yeah.
unexpected, and like yeah, it was not. But just thinking about that Edinburgh show, I think that's where we first met Deborah, our friend Deborah, who I know listens to or watches this
Yeah, I think
podcast.
so as well.
I remember because I did a Blondie song. I did a cover of um Dreaming, I think, by Blondie. And I think she said to me afterwards, "Oh, my name's Deborah, and I love Deborah Harry," or something like
Oh,
that. And
okay.
I think that's the first time we met Deborah.
Well,
Um,
when I was in going back to my Leeds experience, I went to a vegan restaurant there called Donna Summer. Do you say
yeah.
it Donna or like that word as in Donna
Don't.
kebab?
Well, it's doner, isn't it? Doner kebab.
Donna kebab.
But when they play on the name Donna Summer, I just say Donna Summer.
Yeah. And it was a really lovely restaurant
Mm.
on the Calls or Call Lane
It's
in that
very
part of
close to
town.
Wharf Chambers, isn't it?
Yeah, just around the corner. The
Mm.
weather was so brutal, like absolutely just teeming with rain, windy, freezing.
Mm.
And but it was somehow comforting, like to be back in Leeds and for it to be like that. Because I can remember just walking around in the cold and the wet and walking along the canal in the rain and just
Mm-hmm.
enjoying it. It's just so atmospheric. But
Yeah.
the food was incredible at Donna Summer.
Mm.
I really enjoyed it. But we also went on a day trip to York,
Mm.
and York is very pretty. Like, it's a
Mhm.
very picturesque town. Is it a city or a town?
It's a city.
Is it the name inspiration for New York?
Well, yeah, I assume so. Um,
And why? Why is that?
well, loads of those parts of the New World, that's what you want to call it, were named after places in Europe, like well, obviously New York, New Jersey, New England, um, but even like some of the non-British places, like what isn't Brooklyn is from a Dutch word, isn't it? And then
Oh, is it?
um, is there a New Amsterdam? Or am I imagining
Well,
that?
New York used to be called New
Oh,
Amsterdam, I
right.
think,
Okay.
before it
Okay.
changed to New York.
Right.
But I
Okay.
wonder why they thought York was significant enough, because it doesn't really have a river that you could get a boat down. It's got a river, but it wasn't like a shipping port like Liverpool or London.
Oh, right. Like, as in, why didn't they pick a more
Yeah,
similar?
like a more prominent, sort of
It just probably
impressive global
depends on
city.
like who, probably whoever the first sort of European people were there decided
Like,
what the name was,
maybe
or
some royal, like some aristocrat or something, got sent there to help set it up, and they said, "Well, my family's from York, so I want it to be called this," or "I'm going to invest
maybe.
this amount of money if you call it after my home city," or
But speaking of York's river, was it because you said it had been very wet? Was the river flooding? Because York has
no,
really
but
terrible
it was high
flooding issues.
and fast. Um, what I would tell you it was flooded with was fucking people. Like, I
Mm,
have never seen so many people somewhere.
mm,
It was like being at Disneyland. The amount of people pouring in and out of every little lane and from the train station.
mm.
And it was freezing and wet, and it was just full of tourists. Also, you've been to York a few times, right?
Yeah. I mean, funnily enough, I was just there. I don't know when it was, in the summer, and I caught up with Deborah, who we just were talking about a few
Ah,
minutes ago. Yeah.
well, I don't remember years ago it being so. I know it's like had a reputation as a bit of a spooky town,
Mm,
but every shop and everything was like marketed around ghosts.
yeah.
But like little white Casper looking sheep ghosts, but all the
Well, I
trinkets
mean, you
and
were
the
there just after Halloween, I suppose, but
no,
yeah, I
but
think
like
they've
the
really
whole city has taken that on.
they've leaned into. What's the past tense of lean?
I don't know.
Lent. They've lent into the whole like haunted, ghosty kind of vibe
And
a lot.
there's a secondary theme of being the city of cats somehow.
Oh, I didn't know
Like,
that.
there's some cat
I mean,
connection.
I know like a lot of people associate it with Harry Potter.
Oh my
Even
god, the
though I
amount
don't
of
think Harry Potter was filmed there, was it? It was just,
no, I think just because that shambles street with all of the old
yeah, it
buildings that are all on
resembles,
different angles, it sort of is people associate it with the visual aesthetic of what Harry Potter
yeah,
looks
what's it
like.
called? Is
But
it Diagon Alley or whatever it's called in Harry Potter?
what in Harry Potter?
Yeah, something like
I've
that.
never read any of those books or
Yeah,
seen
I've
any
not
of
read.
those movies. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. And the problem that I have with traveling around the UK is the fucking state of the trains. Like, our train was late going up to Leeds.
Hmm.
The trains from Leeds to York just didn't exist. Like, the trains that I had, I went there and said 10:30 on my ticket. And the person said, yeah, there's no 10:30 train. And I said, well, is there one every half hour? And he's like, there's no trains for that company today. And I was like, okay, so what should I
What,
do?
had
He
you
goes,
already
just,
bought a ticket then?
yeah, I bought a ticket. And he goes, just get on any train going there and just tell the people that, um, and I was like, what? And then coming back. Oh, and it was standing room only from Leeds to York. Like, it was packed solid
Yeah.
and everyone was standing like shoulder to shoulder. And um, then coming back, I just got on any train. And so I
Mm,
had like a northern ticket and I had got on like a Transpennine train. And I was so scared I was going to get a fine because the fines are a lot of
mm,
money.
hmm.
But nobody got it. Like, the trains were too crowded for the ticket inspectors to get on and walk down them.
But
So
what was that time we got a train from? God, I can't remember where we were coming from. Somewhere on the west coast. We had to get that Trans-Pennine train across to Manchester or something.
mhm,
I don't know where we'd been or why we were there. I can't remember, but um, yeah, I remember how bad the trains were. Like,
yeah.
just slow, like really old, like rolling stock. I mean, this is probably 10 years ago now, but yeah, it's very, very underfunded, isn't it?
When I first got that Trans-Pennine, I thought it was Trans-Panini. Years ago, I
Trans-Pennine
remember calling it
Express.
Trans-Panini Express. But I can't, like we were talking about a few episodes about how good the trains were in Italy when we did that trip
Oh,
to
I know.
Genoa. The extreme difference in quality and reliability and comfort,
Hmm.
everything, and the cost, it's
Yeah,
so staggering, the difference about what we put up with here in the UK.
I know. I know. Just quickly, I wanted to get your opinion on something.
Yes.
So, quite a few times now in the last few months, and I keep meaning to bring it up on the podcast to get your hot take. Several times over the last few months, I've been in one of the sort of big supermarkets, like a Sainsbury's, like one of the bigger ones, and then they've got maybe eight traditional checkouts with staff, and then they've got the scan and shop checkouts where you like take the little handheld device, and then they've got like the self checkouts. And there have been, there have been several occasions where I've been there. I've needed assistance at the self checkout because something didn't scan or a voucher wasn't working, or I don't know, whatever reason I needed. Like I was buying alcohol and I needed somebody to verify that I looked, 80 years old or whatever. And there have been other customers there who also need help, and there's just no staff there. There are no staff
Mhm.
around. And it's really frustrating. And I'm not excusing people's behavior, but I kind of understand, like, people get really frustrated and they just start shouting, "Hello, is anyone here? Does anyone work
Hello.
here? Can anyone come and help me?" And they're getting very irate. And of course, I don't condone getting irate with staff. It's not
Oh,
cool.
you only condone getting irate driving a minivan around the UK.
Yeah. But um I get it. I get the frustration. It's like the indignity of, you know, now having to pretty much do it all yourself, not getting any, we're paying higher and higher prices,
Mhm.
and we're having to like do all the scanning ourselves, which is fine, whatever. But it's just like, at the very least, you could have staff there to help when people do need help. And I get,
Well, the bigger indignity is that they've taken away people's jobs.
yes,
They've automated these services. So, yes, it's harder for us, but I mean,
but
in
this
that
is it.
situation, there are 10 people out of jobs.
Yeah, but this is it. The frustration is with the the bosses, with the board of directors, with the very, very high up owners of the business. But of course, you don't get to express your frustration to them. You express your frustration at the situation which they've created. And it's it's just such a shit reality of modern life, isn't it?
Yeah.
That, you know, they're anyway. I mean, what's your
But it's
thought?
it's
Like,
similar to my whole train situation. Like when I went to speak to someone at the train desk, and I said, "Well, so can I get on the 11 o'clock train?" And she said, "Oh, I think it's cute. You think there's an 11 o'clock train as well." And I was like, "What?" She goes, "There are no trains." I was like, "Okay." So I couldn't. I was angry that that person was the person delivering the news to me, but
yeah,
the system is broken, and it's the same with supermarkets. So yeah, I get frustrated when I'm there, and I don't know, I'm scanning something and it doesn't work or it says not recognized. When you have to put it on the weighing,
hmm,
it's you scan something and you put it on the sensor and
hmm,
it matches whether how much it weighs is what you scanned.
yeah,
And if it doesn't work and it says, "Oh, assistance coming,"
hmm,
and nobody comes, it's easy to feel annoyed at the person who's directly meant to be helping you or the situation you're in. But yeah, the system is broken. And we've allowed ourselves as a society to become automated to the point of we're removing the human element out of everything we do. I mean, even do you remember back and we have to do everything ourselves, like you said, and people are losing their jobs because of it. Do you remember with meter readings, somebody used to come around and do meter readings, like someone from British Gas? Now I get an email, I've complained about it on here before, where every month I get an email from the electricity company and the gas company, and I have to do the meter reading myself and submit it online. But that used to be somebody's job or thousands of
Right.
people's jobs to go around. So they've fired all of those people who were meter readers, like that was a legitimate career path for people. They've removed that, they've automated it, but our bills have gone up 400% in like 5 years or something. So not only are they saving money by not paying people's wages, national insurance, and all benefits, they're also putting our prices up at record rates. So, and the same is happening in the supermarket. So you think if there are 20 automated checkouts, that might have used to be maybe 8 to 10 regular checkout operators doing that
Yeah.
job. There's
Yeah.
8 to 10 people in that situation in that time that you're there. And so across a 10-hour day of the supermarket being open or however long it is, there's like a few, I don't know, 50 people out of a job or something. And they do it because it speeds things up, because if there's a human interaction, it takes longer. You say, hi, how are you? How's the weather? Nice to see you again. Or, oh, you didn't come in with your kid today like you normally do, whatever. And it slows it down. So not only do they do it to save money on wages, but they also, places like Tesco and all of these supermarkets are doing it to
To be more like
eliminate
efficient,
human. What's that?
more efficient in
Yeah,
inverted
and to
commas.
eliminate humans and then the human cost. Similarly, like when I was in the hotel in Leeds, and this bullshit really winds me up, is when these chain hotels that are really crummy, they put these signs in the bathroom to say, we care about the planet.
Oh, I
So
know.
please use your towel more than once. And I'm like, okay, I don't mind using the towel more than once, and I will do it. You don't need to fucking bullshit guilt trip me with this lie that you
Oh,
care. You're doing this green
just
initiative. You're doing it to
greenwashing.
save money. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
doing it to save money. And the same with these, like, oh, we're making your shopping experience more like streamlined for you. No, you're trying to save money.
yeah,
And all
yeah.
of this, like this automated bullshit greenwashing, it's a hard world to live in, Sue. It's for the
It is. It's a hard world
sensitive-minded
to live
like
in.
us.
Very hard. I was equally annoyed recently when I got, for the first time in many years, I got a road tax bill for my car because I've driven electric cars for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years now, going back. And until this year, electric cars have been exempt from vehicle tax. And I knew that it was, never going to stay that way because as
Yeah.
the country gradually transitions to more people using electric cars, obviously the government are going to need that revenue from road tax to pay for the roads to be up, you know, what's the word? Upkept. Does that sound right? Upkept? Doesn't sound right to me, but anyway, you know what I
Maintained.
mean.
Maintained.
Maintained, yes. And okay, fine, I have to pay the road tax. That's I'm not arguing that, but I was outraged that this is a government department, and they gave the option of paying 12 months in full at a reduced price, or paying 2 installments of 6 months at a higher price. And I was absolutely fucking outraged because this is not a private business. This is the government. This is the fucking national UK government basically financially punishing people who don't have enough income to pay the year up front. I just think that's absolutely fucking outrageous, And if it's from a private company, you kind of think, yeah, well, that's hashtag that's capitalism. But it's like, this is our government,
Yep.
this is our fucking government, and they're just fucking, it's a fucking outrage. And I was so annoyed. Um,
Well, it was capitalism all along, Sue.
well, you're right.
Well, talking about cha- making cosmic changes in politics, how exciting, or are you excited about Zohran Mamdani being elected as the mayor of New York
I
City?
am, yeah, I am. I
It
Go on.
Well, I was going to say he's very young as well, which is not only obviously where we can talk about it, excited about the actual politics and the policies of the candidate, of the mayor
Hmm.
elect. He's not the mayor yet. He's just the mayor elect right now. He doesn't become the mayor until, is it January or something? But it's just so surprising how young he is because the way that politics in the US has skewed to be such an old person game and like an old establishment sort of landscape that he's 34 years old. I mean, that is so
Uh,
young for somebody of that huge political position to
hmm.
take.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very exciting, and that I know a lot of his critics say that he has no experience, and to go into a job like that requires somebody with more experience. But I think that even if that is true, I think he's got some really good ride-on ideas and politics and campaign pledges, which I think will be really exciting. Um,
And how much experience do you need? I mean, he's been a New York State Assembly member for he represents the 36th district since 2021. I
mhm,
mean, that's experience. Like that's political experience. Also, you can be well spoken, you can have your head screwed on about topics, you can be informed politically, like you can be aware of social justice, and
mhm.
you can have experience in other jobs. Why can't you transfer that? Like
Yeah,
all these old
and
bastard politicians, like they weren't born knowing everything about politics.
also one of the other key things is that when somebody gets elected, it's not just them, it's their whole team. He is probably going to surround himself by a lot of very, very experienced, very smart, educated, um, you know, thinking people who will advise
Yeah.
him and steer policy and steer his decisions. And I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
any leadership position is only as it's only as strong as the team around them.
I also I don't take offense or what's the word? Umbrage? Is that a word?
I don't take umbrage. Yeah,
Umbrage. What does that mean? Umbrage.
I don't know where it comes from.
Is it like offense or
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of take umbrage at the term educated people because I think uneducated people can also be in positions of power and influence and driving things forward. Like before I went to university, was I uneducated? And does that mean that I'm unqualified from being in public office and being
No,
part of steering the direction of the well-being
no,
of
but let
society?
me qualify what I meant when I said educated people around him. I was talking about, so for example, when it comes to something like economic policy,
Mhm.
financial policy, I think you would really ideally want somebody in that team, not everybody in that team, but the sort of some of the key elements of that team. You would want people who have studied finance and economics and understand how that sort of thing works. But I agree that then it's actually a good idea to have somebody in sort of in a leadership position who maybe hasn't, because they can come up with fresh ideas. So when I say having educated people, it means that, if someone is doing, a very sort of specific role in government, like economic planning or, what do you call that, urban planning, like you want somebody
Yeah.
who understands the way that people and traffic move around a city. You want them to inform policy decisions that will affect that. So that's what I mean when I say about educated. I don't think that just because somebody has a university degree means that that makes them eligible to have a leadership position or anything like that. Um,
Did you know one of the interesting facts about Mamdani is that he is a rapper? Did you know
yep,
this?
yep.
Have you seen any of the music videos for when he was a
Mm-mm,
rapper? It's
no.
quite funny and entertaining. And his mum is a like a filmmaker. as well. Is very. It's interesting, isn't it? Even somebody who is, I suppose, left of center in political discourse
Hmm.
and is an outsider, considered by many in the establishment to be an outsider,
Mm,
still has elements of like Nepo baby about them, like having parents who are kind of influential in those
mm.
realms and being like, it's not like somebody who's just come from nothing, like Aaron Brockovich style, like
Erin
dirt.
Brockovich.
But you know what I mean, like dirt poor and have to read the law books
Uh,
themselves, and they've been in a creative, nurtured, like slightly privileged world. Even though he comes as a like from a minority background,
yeah,
he just
yeah,
has had that. So it's like even the outsider still is an insider in a weird way, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
But it's very exciting to have somebody who is so progressive, queer friendly, obviously, anti-racist, pro housing,
yeah.
affordable transport. It's
He's
exciting. It'll be exciting to see what happens to New York City.
he's got some very, I think, some very. I mean, he describes himself, or he is a member of. Is it the Demo, or Social Democrats or the Democratic Socialists or something? No, the Social Democrats. But he's got a very strong theme of socialist ideas running through his politics, which is fantastic, especially in America, where the word socialism is like such a slur, or has
Yeah,
been traditionally for the last sort of 70 years or so. Means so
and
any
now and
socialist equals communist in America.
uh,
And yeah, it's
oh,
interesting
the
that he's
fucking
now.
the state of politics over there is
Oh, I
just
can't even.
unfucking
I
believable.
can't even.
But to not discount and discredit everything we've just said about this man's amazing achievements and his you know the what do
Politics.
you call yeah, the politics of it all and the hope for the future,
Hmm.
and to reduce it to this, but he's extremely handsome, isn't he?
He is, yeah. That helps. That helps.
And you can see, like, I saw a tweet from, I think it was a drag performer the other day saying, oh yeah, not to be like this, but I can see why all the grandmas, like, lost their cool over JFK now. This is our version of that,
Right.
like
Okay.
having like a seemingly progressive, handsome man who has a partner that he cares about and cares about like the downtrodden, and but is also really handsome. And
Yeah. It
um,
shouldn't. It shouldn't matter at all, should it? But of course, we're only human, Sue. We're only human.
And have you talking about progressive politicians? Have you seen this like wild media ride that Zach Polanski is on in the UK now?
Mm,
Like
mm-hmm.
he's like on all these like panel shows. He uh, what was this show? Not Question Time. That's quite serious, isn't it? There was another one where it's a little bit funny, and he was like dancing on it.
Oh,
And then
really?
he's doing all these memes like that are like trending at the moment. He's doing them, and then there's that artist Rizzle Kicks,
Mm,
who was doing a concert and brought Zach out on stage, and got him on the mic. And it's the movement around it is so huge, and like it's such a surge of momentum. And
mm,
but the election, I mean, it's having a knock-on effect because there are local elections going on, and the Greens are winning seats. So
yeah.
it's helping at a local level. But I wonder
Yeah.
if there's momentum, what it will look like when a general election comes around.
Yeah. I mean, one can only hope that the momentum just continues and continues and builds, and that even if by the time the election comes around, the Greens don't have a chance of winning the election, like winning a majority in the House of Commons, it will have a huge impact on the policy and on the campaigning
Hmm.
of the other parties.
Yeah,
And it's so fucking refreshing and long overdue to have something which counters the rise of the right and populist right. It's so, so good to have that in British politics
yeah.
now. Um,
Have
but
you?
I was fucking outraged the other day, and I've not researched this, so I'm a bit hesitant to bring it up. But I saw a headline that said that Labour is considering stripping jewellery from
Hmm.
people, so from somebody who's claiming asylum, in the United Kingdom. They are thinking of following, was it Denmark? Maybe it was a Scandinavian country, following maybe Denmark's lead in stripping them of any assets they might have, such as jewelry. And
to pay for their care and
to pay for
accommodation.
their
Yeah.
processing their asylum claim or whatever. And I couldn't believe it. I was
I mean,
just,
that's some Nazi bullshit if you've
yeah,
ever heard it.
yeah, exactly. I struggle to even find the words to express my outrage that people who are probably fleeing the most fucking desperate, awful situations, and even if they're not, even if they've just
Yeah.
come in search for a
Well,
better life, like the idea that we have the right to strip them of some of the few precious things that maybe they brought with them,
mm.
I think it's fucking
Like
outrageous.
the Labour Party, like we've spoken about it a lot on here. To me, I don't see them as a left-wing party anymore. Like I
No,
just don't. I
no.
don't think they are. And, Keir Starmer is apparently on his way out. I mean, everyone is so unhappy. He's got the worst rating, I think, of any prime minister. I think even worse than Boris Johnson, which is
Says a lot,
quite
doesn't it?
fucking hard to believe because what Boris Johnson did with all like through COVID and dancing on people's fucking graves.
Yeah.
To do worse than that, you must be really screwing it up. But I also think like the Labour Party is traditionally held to a higher standard than the Conservatives because we expect the Conservatives to be pricks
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
expect them to be nasty pieces of work. Whereas
Mm,
Labour, we think, oh no, they're the good guys, and now it's like actually you're worse than the Conservatives because you're meant to be on our side.
mm.
And if Keir Starmer goes, can you believe that we might have Wes Streeting as
Oh
a
God.
prime minister
Let's hope
or a
not. I mean,
leader of?
Angela Rayner hasn't ruled out a leadership bid, and I think she would be a much better leader.
But didn't they
But
boot
yeah,
her because she didn't they put all that
she
shit on
resigned. No,
her?
she resigned. She resigned. We talked about it on the podcast, didn't we? About a tax thing or something. I can't remember the details now, but yeah, God, Wes Streeting. Oh,
What a
yeah.
creature. Also, here's something else controversial. I'm starting to not really enjoy the contributions of Jeremy Corbyn to what's
Mm,
currently going on. I'm
yeah.
finding it very just irrelevant. Um, a bit of a roadblock to actual real progressive politics. It
Mm,
seems to be mired down in this like fucking student union vibe, like tit for tat or reading the standing orders at a meeting kind of vibe, or points of
yeah.
clarification,
Yeah.
that old fashioned sort of progressive politics, which it just doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. With Zach Polanski seems to be more modern and speaking to people about real modern problems. Whereas, like, I've been listening to interviews with Jeremy Corbyn where it is so dull and uninteresting to me and I'm not even a young person but I'm
Mm,
just like, what is this? The fucking 1700s? Like, this
yeah.
just doesn't seem interesting to me.
And what is it? I mean, the whole launch, well, the ongoing failed launch of whatever
Mm.
the new party is called, whether it's your
Your
party,
party.
but
Yeah, I think it is your party now.
I don't think they've officially said that's what it is though. But the whole quarrels between Jeremy and Zara, and it's just been a fucking shit show.
Yeah, and
It
she was on a
just
TV show the other night, and
who's Zara Sultana?
yeah, and she was on a TV show like Question Time or something. And the
Yeah,
same afternoon where she was getting ready to go on the show, the men in the party, like Jeremy Corbyn and like four other men, released a signed statement together without her
right.
name on
Well,
it,
yeah,
saying something
typical.
about. And it's just like
And
you're
it's
so old-fashioned, old blokey politics as usual, but they're trying to
yeah.
do it with this like
Trying to be
progressive spin, and
progressive,
it's not
yeah.
working.
Well, Ash, what's her name? Ash Sarkar.
Sarkar, yeah,
She talks a lot about how fucking tired she is of the left sort of quarreling and infighting, and
yeah,
how um not unproductive. What's the term she uses? Just like how it doesn't serve the left's interests to be so divided and so to quarrel
yeah.
so much. It just it does us a disservice.
Well,
So
before
yeah.
Before we fucking alienate every listener who doesn't want to listen to UK politics go on forever, can I tell you something a little bit more fun and frivolous?
Go for it.
I went to see Five in concert.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was so good. It was one of the most joyous things that's happened in recent years. Like, I don't know what people think about Five or if you even know about Five, but they're a manufactured boy band from the late 90s who, to me, they're the best boy band. Like, people crap on about, I mean, I like New Kids as well, but people crap on about New Kids and Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. To me, Five are the best, the coolest, like the best songs, the best catalog of songs are actually decent pop songs. I was so excited to be there. And I was in this standing pit in front of the stage, like this, I don't even know what it was, like a members area or something. There only was a couple of hundred people in it. And so the catwalk went all around it. Like when they came out on stage, they were so close to us. If I wanted to, I could have reached up and held hands. They were reaching down and slapping hands and everything. They were that
Mm.
close to me. But when they first came out, it was a bit 1990s roadshow, a bit tacky. Like there were adverts for things playing on the screens before the show started. And then they
Mm.
had like video clips of people like Ollie Murs and I don't know, TV presenters saying, "Hey Five, I love you guys, welcome back." It was a little bit like Smash Hits Roadshow vibes.
Okay.
But when it started and the lights were flashing and there was a opaque curtain and you saw the
Mhm.
five of them walk up behind it and put their hands in
Baby,
the air.
baby, when the lights go out.
Well, they said it started like five bad boys with the power to rock you, and then the curtain dropped, and like these lights and smoke and everything and explosions. It was so exciting, and what was weird. It was like a teenage experience, but everyone, including me, was middle aged, like them
Mhm.
as well, like on
Mhm.
stage, and it was just so exciting because we think of that sort of music as being for children and not having a legacy
Mhm.
and not being important. But everybody in that, 20,000 people in that arena were up on their feet the whole time. Nobody left early. Everyone was like singing along to every word. There were old men next to me, like my age,
Mhm.
doing the dance moves. Like they didn't, you know what I mean? Like people who would have been, and maybe people younger than me, because I was even too old the first time Five came out, right? Like I was
Mhm.
in my 20s or something. So there were kids that would have been teenagers or tweens or whatever. And so there were men who looked like me doing the dance moves along with Five. And it was so emotional. Like when they first started singing, I cried. Like I was like, this is like an overwhelming like force of joy and happiness.
Mhm.
And what was really moving about it, like if you know anything about the history of this boy band, they've had a lot of emotional problems. Like the members of the band really struggled with the fame and how hard they were worked.
Mhm.
They would used to say they didn't know what country they were in. They would wake up on a tour bus and say, not what country we're in, like what continent are we on? Like we don't even know where we are.
Wow.
And they didn't know if it was morning or night, or they would just be forced to work nonstop, like 7 days a week for
Mm.
years. Their parents, like were worried about them. They really struggled. And a few of them had breakdowns and they spoke about it on stage at this concert the other night, and I found it really touching that we've come that far that, men are often positioned as having to hide that sort of thing or it being like weak.
Mhm.
But here were these guys saying, yeah, like Scott, who's, one of the guys in the band, was saying, I'm so glad to be here and grateful to be on stage because when it first happened, I was very unwell and, I had a psychotic break and I wasn't dealing with that, and Jay, who like does most of the rapping in the band, he disappeared out of the public eye for
Yeah.
2 decades.
Yeah.
And so to see them all come
He
out
was
and to
he was the
say,
first one to leave the band, wasn't he? Or was
no, that
Sean?
was Sean, and
Yeah.
he had a breakdown, and there's a documentary where they talk about it from a few years ago, and they interviewed Robbie Williams, and
Mm.
Robbie Williams said that he was at an award show one year, and he was in the back of in the hallway in the green room, and he saw one of the guys, I think it was Sean, sitting on the ground just crying. like hysterically
Wow.
holding himself and rocking back and forth. And he said no one was helping this young man. And he said he went and sat with him and put his arm around him and said, I know what you've been through. Like,
Mm.
this is, and it's really upsetting that this happens to people. And so these guys were on stage saying, you don't know how much this means to us. It's not just we're making money, because that's another thing. The tickets were so cheap compared to modern concerts.
Now,
And
how
they said
much
it
did you
multiple
pay?
times. Like, for me, being in this VIP standing thing was £63.
Wow, that's very, very
And
cheap. Yeah.
I mean, other concerts that I've seen are hundreds and hundreds of pounds to do that. There were
Mm.
tickets up the back for like £40 and stuff.
Wow.
And so you could have gone to this show for like 30 quid. And they said, we're not doing it as a cash grab. Like, obviously, they would have made some money out of it.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
said, we need to make this right for ourselves and for the fans. They'd said a lot of that sappy stuff about the fans, but they were
Mm.
like, you don't know what this means to us to get to do this on our terms,
Mm.
because they're just young men who wanted to sing and wanted to be
Yeah.
performers, and they had it
Yeah.
taken away from them by like greedy capitalism, and them standing there saying, Scott was saying, like, my 4 children are here and my wife is here, and there was a long time where they thought that I was never going to be better mentally, and that to
Mm.
see me here be on stage, it was so touching. And I was just blown away by how good it was. Like, their
Yeah.
vocals, like, a lot of the boy bands, you get lost in the mix of, can they actually sing or not? Does it even matter? But these
Mhm.
guys were all really, really talented singers. I mean, Jay was an absolute powerhouse. Like, he just blew the roof off the stage every time he opened his mouth. And they had a live band. Oh,
Sorry, I just had to
salute,
sneeze, Sue.
salute. And
Thank you.
but
God, I
talking about,
can't get sick before Gaga in Paris,
oh
Sue.
my God, don't
We're
start, don't start.
coming, dropping like flies, Sue.
But talking about like mental health and pop stars, have you
Hmm.
read the interview with Lady Gaga in the
Yeah,
Rolling
the Rolling
Stone?
Stone one. Yes, I did. Yes. My
Oh
God.
my God, how exhausting to be that level of famous and
Mm.
to go through that, and to have, like, she said when she was filming A Star Is Born, she was on lithium,
Yeah, I know.
like
I
as a
know.
like a mood
Mood
control or mental health
stabilizer.
mood stabilizer. And
Hmm.
the psychotic break she had during like the Joanne tour, and she had to like cancel. Imagine that being your life. Like, when we've felt, and we've talked about having emotional problems or like having breakdowns driving trucks.
Shouting, screaming
Imagine,
at each other in a van.
imagine that at that level, like being in Five or being Lady Gaga, and being
Yeah.
forced by all of these people who want to make as much money out of you as possible,
Yeah.
forcing you on stage, forcing you into movies, forcing you to take photos,
Mm.
constantly doing interviews,
Mm.
and not being well enough to get out of bed. And
Yeah.
like the bit where Gaga was saying, when she was talking about Chromatica and she was doing interviews saying, oh, I'm so happy. But she was lying, and she'd said, I was as happy as I could be, like smoking weed all day and then
Sitting
drinking
on the
2 bottles
front
of wine
porch,
every
just
night.
smoking weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And drinking 2 bottles of wine each night. And
Yeah.
she's like one of the most famous, celebrated people on the planet. And
Mm.
she's still having this like breakdown. And it's like got to be so tough. And so seeing Five was very emotional for me, because they also represent, like I've spoken about this, when we talked about the Coreys and the Lost Boys and things
Mm-hmm.
like that, where I look at young people and young men and the struggles they have with abuse and being taken advantage of and surviving through mental health episodes. It really resonates with me for my own
Yeah.
personal history, and
Yeah.
to see these men on stage, and also they're not they've never come out and said, "Oh, we love gay people" or anything, but I feel included in the space. Like, they're
Mm.
down there and they were like they were bending down to high five like other men and fist bump other men and giving shout outs to guys who were like screaming for them and stuff. And back in
Mm.
the day, like, did you come with me to see them at GAY, or did I
No.
go on my
I
own?
don't not no, I don't think I did.
And I saw them perform in a gay club back in the first time around, like 99 or
Mm.
something.
Mm.
And yeah, they were like so excited to have a crowd of like young gay men, predominantly young gay men, screaming for them.
Mm.
And it just feels like a fresh, inclusive form of masculinity. And that's something we've spoken a lot about on the podcast, talking about now and men.
Mhm.
And modern masculinities, what that looks like. How can men celebrate their masculinity without being assholes about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked it a lot, and I wish I could go and see them again. I would go again if there was another
Are they
opportunity.
recording new music? Are they
They haven't mentioned anything about that. They're going to tour Australia next year, those and New Zealand,
well, so you
and
can see
I
them
think
again.
well, no, it's before I get down there. It's
Ah,
like in
okay.
May or something. But
Okay.
they're playing other cities. I mean, their tour here is hugely successful. They sold out the O2 3 nights in a row.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
they're playing all over like Cardiff and everywhere, and Newcastle and Birmingham, and it has been overwhelming, the success of it. And
Mm,
yeah, I would love to see them again, but it was really tinged with the sadness as well as being joyous, because hearing them all, knowing what they went through, and it's the same with Lady Gaga. I
mhm,
think, how can I celebrate this and love it when I know how much pain is behind it?
mhm, mhm.
What other artists are like that for you? That where you love what they do, but you know that they were just suffering the whole time.
I well, often you don't
Maybe some of the Fleetwood Mac stuff.
I was gonna say, like, you often don't hear about the struggles at the time, so it's nice when an artist has an extended career and is able to then, open up a bit more about the struggles they were going through and then continue
Mm.
to perform. So yeah, like when I saw Stevie Nicks last year, was it last year or was it this year?
Yeah,
Anyway, whenever it was.
I think it was
Um,
this year.
I think it was this year, yeah, this summer. I
Yeah,
think
this summer. Yeah.
it was nice to know that, she's been through a lot. She's struggled with addiction and health and relationships, and she's opened up a lot more about that in recent years. And but yeah, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of other in answer to your question, I'm trying to think of other people, like someone like Suzanne Vega, very very little about her life.
Mhm.
And who else have I seen? Brandy Carlisle doesn't talk that much, I don't think, about her private life. Or no, that's not true. I mean, she does, but she doesn't talk about her struggles so much.
But I also think it's different for people like Gaga or Five, or Stevie Nicks, who are so famous and in this eye of this storm. Brandy
Mm.
Carlisle to me kind of exists in a bit more of a calmer
Oh yeah,
level of
yeah,
fame.
yeah. It's
It's
not the
not
same
that
level.
hyper focused. I mean, now being in that whirlwind, or like we've been talking a lot about Lily Allen recently, and
Mm.
everything that she's been through. And if you read her book, and she talks about her addiction, and substance abuse issues, and that level of scrutiny and that ridicule from the press and even fans being aggressive to you,
Mm.
like what just happened to Ariana Grande, where she was at there's this like young man from Australia. He's a serial attention grabbing pest, and he storms the stage when people are performing, and
So you're just describing yourself, Sue.
yeah, no, but like
Like the
there was
time
a
you
Katie
stormed on stage with what's his
with
name,
yeah,
Jordan. Was it Jordan
Jordan
Knight?
Knight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with Jordan Knight. Yeah, no, this guy, he's like this modern content creator who the Katy Perry was performing in Sydney, and he ran on stage and grabbed her. Or The Weekend was performing in Australia, and he ran on stage and grabbed the Paris Olympics. It was like the 100 meters final, and he ran on and stopped the race from starting. And like he goes all around the world and does
And
all
what
of
did he
these
do?
like
What did he do with
stunts.
Ariana?
Well, she was walking on the yellow brick road carpet at the
Oh,
Wicked 2 premiere,
yeah,
and she was walking with Cynthia Erivo, Michelle Yeoh, and who's the dude from Jurassic Park? Who's in it?
yeah. I can't remember his
What's
name.
his name from
Um.
Jeff Goldblum? Is it Jeff Goldblum?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking of someone
Yeah.
else, but yeah.
Yeah, he's in those Wicked movies, isn't he? Did you see the first
Uh,
one?
I did. Yeah, regrettably.
Yeah, isn't he
Um,
in that?
he is.
I
Yeah,
have not seen it. I've
he's
not
the
seen it.
wizard. Yeah, well,
So they were
you
walking
don't need
along
to
the
see it,
carpet
Sue. But
together.
hmm
The four of them were walking along the carpet together just a few days ago, and Ariana was on the end. And this guy, this young Australian content creator, instigator, jumped onto the up and ran maybe about 20 meters and grabbed her quite rough, like quite violently round the neck. And everyone just kind of like froze. But Cynthia Erivo just straight away jumped and yanked this guy off, pushed him
Mm.
away, and put her arms around um,
Ariana.
Ariana. And, Ariana was just like frozen. And then the security dragged him away, and he was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he was doing all posts from outside going, I just
Was
met Ariana.
was
I told you I was going to
was he
see her.
arrested? I mean, that's assault. Was he
Yeah, well,
arrested?
yeah, because he's never been arrested before, but I think it was in Singapore this was happened. He's currently in prison. They put him in jail for 9 days. They sentenced him for 9 days
Mm,
for public
good.
nuisance. But, Ariana, imagine being that right. I mean, I'm not super fan of her music or anything. I
No, me neither.
appreciate that she works hard and whatever, but, she's a privileged performer. Imagine the PTSD that she has from that bombing that happened at her concert in Manchester,
Yeah, yeah.
where after she performed, not long after she left the stage at the Manchester Arena, there
Mm,
was a suicide bomber who killed 22 people, and I think 1,000 people were injured. But 22 people, including some of her fans and some of the parents or carers who came to collect them, were killed. Can you imagine the trauma that she would carry as
yeah,
and then
yeah,
compound that with everything else she goes through in the public eye and all of
yeah.
the, body issues she would have as a young woman
And
and the
then
shame she would
all the
feel.
stuff we don't know about, like all there'd be
Yeah.
so much that we don't know about.
And then
Um,
having somebody lunge at you in a public setting and
yeah,
violently grab you around the chest or the neck or whatever he did,
yeah.
how you would think you were being killed.
Hmm.
And then imagine all of that, what that would unlock in you, the PTSD and how it would trigger you.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how these people do it. I
Yeah.
don't know how somebody stays that level of famous for that long without going completely crazy.
Well, I think that I can't speak for Ariana, but I would imagine a lot of people don't process a lot of this shit until later in their lives. And then when you read that, for example, that interview with Gaga, or when you talk about Five, as sort of older adults coming to terms with what they went through, and I think I don't know how old Ariana
Yeah.
is. She must be in her 30s, maybe.
Maybe in the
Um,
30s, yeah.
and yeah, like stuff like that, like someone grabbing you, it's often you won't even really process something like that until later in life. But, I would imagine and I would hope that she's got a team of very supportive people around her who are getting her, all the sort of medical and psychiatric support that she needs. But
Yeah.
history has shown that pop stars often don't have that and are not given that.
Yeah.
Whether they're sort of in the sort of manufactured pop star camp or not. I mean, Lady Gaga would never have really considered to be a manufactured pop star, but
No.
she was she went through a very sort of dissociative period of feeling like a commodity being sold, being used, being pushed from
Yeah.
pillar to post. And yeah, I
A
just
similar thing happened to Prince,
mm,
and then, Prince famously distanced himself from being Prince. He changed his name to a symbol to
yeah,
escape being commodified by record companies that didn't care about him. And then, that led him down a very dark path of being so on the fringes that he became susceptible to other things. And he obviously passed away from like toxicity due to like drugs, pain medication, and it feels like it's so rare that somebody comes out of it unscathed. You
mm,
know,
mm,
like somebody like Dolly Parton is incredible that she's still, she went through all of this gamut of being the most famous person on the planet multiple times.
mm,
Like how hard it would be to survive that. But just a quick little aside about connected to Wicked, just before we finish. Do you know who Bowen Yang is?
no,
Bowen Yang is a comedian. He is on Saturday Night Live. He might still be on Saturday Night Live, and he is in Wicked, playing a side character. And he has one of the biggest podcasts on the planet called Las Culturistas.
oh, okay, yeah, no,
And
I've seen him on clips on
yeah,
Instagram and stuff, yeah.
yeah, and he's like openly gay,
And
and
he interviewed
like
Dolly
he's
just the other day, didn't he?
probably, yeah, he
Yeah.
interviews really big stars. I was listening to him, and Ariana interviewing each other the other day for some crappy, promo thing for Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
And they were asking each other true or false questions about each other. And she said to him, "Is it true you were born in Australia?" And he said, "Yes, I was born in Brisbane, Australia."
No way.
And I was like, "What?" And he was like one of the biggest podcasters on the planet right now, and he's on Saturday Night Live. And he said, then I went in and I investigated. He was born in Brisbane in 1990. And then when he was 6 months old, his family moved to Canada. And I just find that wild. Like Brisbane comes up in the most unexpected places. And
Who'd
I
have
just
thought?
think, and I was like 16 years old living in Brisbane when Bowen Yang was born down the street.
Yeah. Speaking of Brisbane, people from Brisbane, when you went to the Fortitude Valley gig on, was it Friday night?
Yes.
Did you speak
Yeah.
to the band?
Yeah. And it was so funny. Like,
Is it
I was like,
is it just one of them that's from Brisbane or several of them?
yeah, the lead singer.
Okay.
And when I said to her, I went up to I bought the record and at the merch table, and I said, "Hey, I'm Sean." And she said, "Oh, yeah, hi." I said, "I'm fat gay vegan," because, we've been exchanging things online. She goes, "Yeah, I
Mm.
know, I know."
No.
And I said, "Did you know that I'm from Brisbane?" She goes, "Yeah," like, because she said, "I follow you." And I said, "Oh, yeah, your band name is so triggering to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many memories." She goes, "Yeah, if you know, you know." Like, it's such a funny set of memories to have. Everybody who's from Brisbane has some set of memories to do with Fortitude Valley and that
Oh,
part
yeah.
of the
Yep.
city. It's such a unique part of the city. But yeah, it was very sweet getting to talk to her, and the gig was just so enjoyable. Like, I would highly recommend, if you get a chance to go see them, I think you would love it. I think it would really blow your socks
Yeah.
off, like
Next time they
how
tour, I'm
fun
gonna
they sound.
try and go. Right. Well, I'm not gonna say my usual spiel. You can say something to
But
see us out.
we are going, we're 2 days away. This time in 2 days, we'll be in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see Gaga. I'm so excited. It is going to be very cold. It's going to be a high of 5 in the day and like 1 degree at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
What else are we going to do in Paris
I
apart
don't
from
know,
see
but
Gaga?
we don't have
Any-
time to get into it now, Sue. I was trying to prompt you to do the outro without doing the outro myself because I'm so sick of saying the same thing every episode. So I'm leaving
But
it to you.
it's wonderful that you've all joined us for another episode. I would highly recommend, if you are an internationally recognized pop star, get the love and support that you need from the circle around you. If you're listening to this, don't let it get too far down the road before you get the help you need. And please subscribe to our channel if you're watching on YouTube, and give us a like, rate us, do whatever you need to do to let people know that you've enjoyed us, and share it if you like. And we will be back next week with another episode where we will be talking a lot about Lady Gaga. And until then, Josh, I hope you have a wonderful day. To
Thank
our
you, Sean,
viewers and
and
listeners, I hope you have a wonderful day and week. And that's it. Goodbye.
Thanks, folks. See you next week.